In 1984, I was living in Houston, Texas. I had met an African American young man like myself who was at the time selling A.L. Williams Insurance. He tried to recruit me into that business, but I really wasn't that interested. So we kind of exchanged numbers and briefly stayed in contact off and on. A few months later, he contacted me again and told me that while he was still in A.L. Williams, he had changed his focus to selling real estate, and particularly land in real estate. And he wanted to know if I was interested in any investment in some raw land. He told me that he was in Tumble, Texas, so he came to my house and picked me up and brought me out to Tumble, Texas. For those of you who may not be aware of where Tumble, Texas is, it's a suburban area of Houston, and it's about maybe 45 to 50 miles from Southwest Houston, where I was living at the time. And so he drove me out there, and when we got there, it was really just a wooded area, a 2-lane highway going in each direction, traveling in each direction. And there was a trailer home that was on this vacant lot. There were 2 young white men that were in the trailer home, and their job was to actually sell me the property. But one of the things that I noticed was that when I sat down, this tall, muscular white man came up and he sat down next to me, and he started pitching me to sell me this land, talking about the highways going to be coming through this particular area and so forth. And I could tell that he was kind of hostile. He was talking down to me. And I didn't really know where I was to begin with. And plus the way he was talking to me in a manner of disrespect. And yet he was trying to sell me land. But he was determined to sell me this piece of land. And at that point, I was nowhere going to buy any land from him. So, because as far as I know, he could be selling me some land that's underneath the water, because there was a lot of like swamp area and marsh area there anyway. So I'm just saying no. But he's pounding his hands on the desk and said, "You're going to buy this land." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not going to buy the land." And so I'm like, you know what? I'm getting ready to leave. So I got up and he started calling me, "You effing nigger. You come out here and you waste my time, you know, blah, blah, blah." And he started cussing as I'm walking out. Now I sense that the situation has escalated and getting even more tensed. And so when I walked out, there was another white boy that was out there. And there was also the African-American gentleman, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, who was waiting for me because he was outside the trailer. And here we are in a parking lot, and he's calling me effing nigger over and over again. And then he took a swung at me. And I kind of sensed it beforehand. He swung at me. And so I just kind of reared back and missed so he could miss. And he did. So I didn't let him. And I was moving around because I'm like, maybe I have to fight this guy. And so what ended up happening was he swung at me again, and I kind of moved and knocked his hand out of the way. And then this other white boy jumped in between the two, and he was telling them to stop. But he was so adamant, calling me effing nigger over and over again. And then he just basically like spit at me because he couldn't get to me. And I kind of noticed that he was getting ready to do this. And I just kind of moved out of the way. But the bulk of the spit missed me. But you know how sometimes somebody spit, there's remnants and others. That got into my face. And so I was furious. And I was really ready to beat his behind. But you know what? I thought, this guy might have a gun. I don't know what the situation is. I'm out here in a wooded area. I'm not sure exactly what. And so at that point, the white guy who was insulting me and trying to beat me up, he basically told the black guy, the African-American guy who bought me, he said, "Let that nigga walk home. Don't take him home. In other words, don't give me a ride." So now this young man who took me out there was left with a decision. Is he going to listen to this white boy and keep his job, I guess? Or is he going to take me home, which is about 45 to 50 miles away? And of course, who knows what would have happened if I'd have been left on that road. Well, fortunate for me, he made the right decision, and he decided he was not going to listen to this gentleman, and he was going to take me home. And so that was a good thing. I have to tell you, that I was very disappointed in him. Not to mention that I was totally pissed off at the situation I was in, and also the white boy who constantly insulted me and who constantly tried to belittle me and called me nigger, and then wanted me to buy some land that's in a swamp. I was pissed to the max. But I was mad also at this young man by not properly vetting who he was working with. Because anytime you're dealing with an overt racist, the way this guy is, a lot of times they leave clues. And so, needless to say, I after a few days, I didn't blame him anymore. I understood the situation. He called me about a week later, told me he resigned, and he wasn't working there anymore. I told you this story because there are a lot of people out here, especially during today, during the current Black Lives Matter movement. And there's a lot of white people out there who basically say that systemic racism doesn't exist. Well, I'm here to say that's a bold-faced lie. And if you believe that, then something is seriously wrong with you. You either think that Black Lives Matter is a hoax, like a lot of people who are racists who believe that Black Lives Matter is a hoax, or you believe it's real. The evidence is in your face. And this stuff has been going on for years. Now, this is just one of the stories that I have decided to put together. There are many other stories that I'm going to end up recording and posting on YouTube. So this is the real story that basically happened to me. And I'm going to tell you many other stories that deals with employment, how I was discriminated with in employment and how that came out. You know, in terms of like with the police officers, my encounters with the police officers over the years, and just various other things, even getting bottles thrown at me. So what I want to do is that if you're interested in listening, and I hope you are, then what I want you to do is hit the subscribe button that's on the YouTube channel. So that way, whenever I release another video, you will have an opportunity to look at it and examine it, and feel free to make your comments. Maybe you've had some similar experiences as well, because change is happening right now, and change is going to come. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the things that has happened to me to let people know that not only racism exists, but systemic and institutionalized racism is here. You're going to be blown away by some of the stories that I have to tell you that occurred to me over the course of my life. And also what I want you to do as well, I want you to also not only subscribe, but I also want you to click the link to go and to a page that you could put your email in, because just in case that this YouTube video is taken down for any reason, I will still be able to set up another platform and be able to do the videos and be able to contact you and tell you to go there as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and we'll be in touch.